In this video we will be counting down the 10 creepiest graves. So grab your favorite snack and a cherry coke, kick back, and enjoy the video. If you like my videos, please subscribe and hit the like button. Comment below if you have any requests. Number 10, Rosalia Lombardo, Capuchin Catacombs of Palermo, Sicily, Italy. Rosalia takes the mummy mold and smashes it to pieces under her tiny infant feet. Rosalia died of pneumonia in 1920 at the tragic age of 2. Her father wanted her memory immortalized and paid embalmer Alfredo Salafia to mummify Rosalia for all to see. Her father Alfredo replaced her blood with formaldehyde, drying out her skin with a mix of alcohol and glycerin, while using salicylic acid to fend off fungus. You would think she just fell asleep in a hermetically sealed glass case with nitrogen. Number 9, Mortsafes, Logierate Parish Church, Scotland. Victorians, what a wacky bunch they were. When they weren't walking the seaside in full-body swimsuits, they were sipping turtle soup, enjoying their 10th meal of the day. When they weren't busy, they were putting cages over burial plots. But was this weird act to keep the dead from getting out? Or to keep the gravediggers from getting in? Disappointingly, Mortsafes were exactly that, safes for the dead, placed over plots to deter robbers looking to sell body parts to local institutions. Number 8, Tairo no Masakado, unknown 940, located in Otemachi, Tokyo, Japan. Samurai during his life, demigod after his death, Masakado has left a deep mark on the story of Tokyo City. A Heian period samurai, Masakado led one of the largest rebellions against the Kyoto-based central government. Sadly, for his sins against the state, he was decapitated in the year 940. Masakado, and more specifically his head, didn't go quietly. Rumor says his head rotted for 3 months, and throughout that time his eyeballs were rolling around like a pinball. His head was buried in what is now Tokyo, and the hero subsequently became a legend. It's said that should the grave of Masakado be disturbed, a natural disaster will befall the land. Authorities ensure the memorial site is permanently maintained. Number 7, Lily E. Gray, 1881 to 1958, Salt Lake Cemetery, Utah. Upon first glance, there's nothing particularly eerie about this normal headstone, but take a closer look and you'll see that this is one with no run-of-the-mill inscription. Victim of the Beast 666, not the sort of epitaph most people would want. The beast in question is not Beelzebub. It is the U.S. government. Lily's husband, Elmer Gray, was vociferous in his hatred for the law and any other governing body, and he blamed them for the death of his wife for reasons nobody knows. Number 6, the Chase Family Crypt, Barbados, the Caribbean. Here's one which has had ghost hunters clambering over their motion sensors for many a moon. When Thomas Chase was laid to rest in the family crypt in 1813, gravediggers opened the tomb to a scene of some discord. The coffins had shifted around, and this crypt hadn't been opened since the death of 2-year-old Mary Ann Chase in 1808. Nothing was removed from the coffins, and the marble door, a cement seal no less, showed no signs of having been previously broken. Fast forward to 1816 and the death of 11-year-old Charles Brewster Ames, and the tomb is opened. Again, the coffins had been tossed about, none less than Thomas Chase's heavy lead coffin, which it had taken 8 men to place into the vault. In 1819, Lord Combermere, governor of Barbados, ordered sand was placed on the floor of the crypt to catch the footprints of any grave robbers. The walls were meticulously checked for secret passages, and when the tomb was eventually shut once again. Less than a year later, the vault was opened, and once again, without even a hint of tampering to the seal or in the sand, the coffins were strewn all over the place, some even standing vertically, and another found halfway up the stairs to the door. The governor had seen enough, and he ordered the coffins to be removed and buried elsewhere, and the crypt was subsequently abandoned and remains so to this day. Number 5, Mary Shelley, 1797 to 1851, St. Peter's Churchyard, Bournemouth, Dorset, England. Do you love your partner? Of course you do. But would you want to be buried with their heart wrapped in a piece of crisp A4? No, didn't think so. You'll do anything for love, but you won't do that, right? When the body of Mary's husband Percy Shelley was cremated on the beach at Viareggio in Italy, 1822, after a sailing accident, witnesses, among fellow poets Lord Byron and Leigh Hunt, said the heart refused to go up with the sinew and bone. Days later, Shelley's husband's ashes were buried in the Protestant cemetery in Rome, but upon his return to England, Lord Hunt had delivered Percy Shelley's heart home to his wife. Mary kept her husband's heart in the top drawer of her desk until her death in 1851. The heart was wrapped in an early manuscript of Adonis, an elegy on the death, and placed in the coffin alongside Mary. Number 4. Russian Mafia, Yekaterinburg, Russia. Once home to a vicious turf battle between two rival Russian mafia gangs, the cemetery in Uralmash, the industrial quarter of Yekaterinburg, houses many a dead mafioso. Walking around the gravestones, you'd be forgiven for feeling watched, because pretty much each grave is accompanied by a life-size portrait etched into the granite headstone, a kind of police line-up of ex-mob men. Alexander Kabarev, leader of one of the 1990s gangs, is buried here, adorned not only with the obligatory imposing bust but also with a CCTV camera guaranteeing 24/7 surveillance. I wouldn't want to be caught grave robbing from these graves. Number 3. Inez Clarke, 1873 to 1880, Graceland Cemetery, Chicago, United States. Inez Clarke was a 6-year-old girl struck and killed by a bolt of lightning in 1880. On top of her grave is a life-size sculpture of Inez, seated on a bench, wearing a lace dress and holding a parasol and a flower. The artwork was commissioned by her parents and is in a large protected perspex box. Pretty normal so far, right? That's until you take a family trip to the cemetery. Unlikely perhaps, but Sundays can be awfully boring, and your kids tell you they're playing with a young girl dressed in old-fashioned clothes. Number 2. Kitty J, Manaton, Devon, England. Colloquially called Jay's Grave, this rather nondescript mound of grass has been baffling Devonians for years. Thought to be the resting place of a suicide victim of the 1700s, the grave in the eerie depths of Dartmoor has become a cult-haunting spot. Religion led ignominy towards self-murder in the 18th century. Kitty J was denied a church plot in consecrated ground and instead was buried at crossroads so that her spirit would remain confused and never be able to find its way to the afterlife. Someone somewhere certainly has sympathy with Kitty, because fresh flowers are regularly placed on the grave, and despite numerous investigations, paranormal and otherwise, no one has ever come claimed responsibly for the frequent floral tributes. Number 1. Princess Elisabeth de Middelhoff, 1779 to 1818, Cimetière du Père-Lachaise, Paris, France. Not a well-known grave by Père-Lachaise standards, which houses the eternal resting place of Jim Morrison, Edith Piaf and Oscar Wilde, to name 3, this princess of Russian nobility married the first prince of San Donato in a loveless marriage. One of the richest women of her generation, de Middelhoff, died slightly unhinged to say the least. In her will she challenged anyone to a pretty hefty chunk, think lottery millions, of her fortune if they could spend a week inside her mausoleum. Several courageous, greedy people tried the challenge. Just a few hours in, contenders were pummeling the tomb door, begging to be let out. Some suffered mental breakdowns or heart attacks, others swore they'd felt entities draining their life force. Many have tried, many have failed, and the fortune remains unclaimed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and leave me a comment below if you have any future videos you would like to see on the channel. Till next time.